Part 7. The Land Without Tomorrow. There are moments in history when a nation does not simply fall. It unravels, thread by thread, until nothing recognizable remains. By the time the war reached its second year, Sudan was no longer living in days. It was living in hours. Hours of running, hours of hunger, hours of hiding, hours of praying that morning would come. This is the chapter where Sudan entered the darkest part of the night, a place where tomorrow became a luxury, and surviving today became a miracle. The great Sudanese cities, once alive with music, markets, and the hum of daily life, became silent territories of fear. Khartoum's bridges, once symbols of connection, turned into battlegrounds. Homes that used to echo with children's laughter now echoed with the crack of gunfire. At night, the city looked like a broken constellation, small pockets of fire glowing through the darkness. Omdurman, a city of poets and musicians, became a maze of abandoned alleys. Entire neighborhoods were so empty even the stray cats moved on. And in Barhi, the factories that once powered the economy now lay rusted and silent, metal skeletons surrounded by the ashes of old dreams. Sudan's cities no longer breathed. They whispered. War kills fast. The collapse of healthcare kills slowly. Hospitals across Sudan fell one by one. Some were bombed. Some were raided. Some simply ran out of supplies. Doctors performed surgeries using the light from their phones. Nurses sterilized tools over candles. Mothers gave birth on cold floors while shells exploded outside. Medicines that used to cost a few pounds now cost a month's wages. Electricity came and went like a dying heartbeat. Ambulances became hearses because there was no fuel to move the dead. The sick were carried in wheelbarrows. The injured were stitched with whatever thread was available. Those with chronic illnesses, diabetes, heart conditions, kidney failure, faced a slower, quieter death. In Sudan, dying became easier than getting treatment. When night fell over Sudan, it brought something worse than darkness. Night belonged to the raiders. Militias moved silently through villages, knocking on doors with the butts of their rifles. Men and boys were dragged out onto the streets. Women hid their daughters beneath floorboards, praying the raiders wouldn't think to look. Some families fled into the night barefoot. Others stayed whispering prayers as shadows crossed their walls. In many villages, people slept in the bush rather than in their homes. Better snakes than soldiers, one survivor said. The world will never know how many disappeared in the night, because night does not keep records. Sudan's land once fed millions. Golden sorghum fields stretching to the horizon. Green valleys where cattle grazed. Small farms where families harvested just enough to survive. But war has a cruel habit. It destroys not just the present, but the future. Militias burned fields before harvest. Livestock were stolen or slaughtered for intimidation. Wells were poisoned. Irrigation canals were destroyed. It takes hours to burn a field. It takes a year to grow one. It takes a lifetime to rebuild a farm. Sudan was not just losing food, it was losing the ability to make food. Famine does not arrive with a scream. It arrives quietly, on the wind that blows through empty fields. In every crisis, there is a group of people who carry the nation on their backs. In Sudan, it was the women. While men were fighting, fleeing, or taken, it was women who found water, women who rationed food, women who kept families together with scraps of hope. In the camps, they formed circles at dusk, teaching, cooking, comforting. Some even built kitchen committees where each woman contributed what little she had so others would not starve. They learned which herbs could cure infections. They learned how to deliver babies without equipment. They learned how to stay alive in a world designed to break them. And when their children cried for hunger, they told stories of a future Sudan, a Sudan with peace, with school bells, with normal life. They held the sky on their shoulders, and without them, Sudan would have collapsed long ago. You can measure the destruction of a country not by its buildings, but by its children. And yet, even in the camps where hunger was the only constant, children still found ways to be children. They chased each other through dust clouds, laughing with the wild freedom only suffering can sharpen. They built toy cars from scrap metal. They played football with plastic bags tied tight with string. They lined up rocks to make pretend classrooms. One little girl in a white dress stained with dust held up her drawing, a house, a tree, and 3 stick figures holding hands. This is my home. I will go back one day. Children do not understand geopolitics, but they understand hope, and that makes them dangerous to despair. Sudan's pleas reached international organizations, but answers came slowly. Needs assessment ongoing, funding pending, access denied, monitoring required, security restrictions. Every delay cost lives. Every form delayed a meal. Every diplomatic hesitation sealed another grave. The world did not respond with action. It responded with echoes. And echoes do not save nations. What makes Sudan's tragedy so painful is not the destruction of the past, but the uncertainty of the future. A country can rebuild its homes, it can rebuild its roads, it can even rebuild its government. But can it rebuild its trust, its unity, its sense of tomorrow? Right now, Sudan lives day by day. The war stole yesterday. Hunger stole today. And the silence of the world threatens to steal tomorrow. But Sudanese people still rise every morning, still search for food, still carry water, still hold on to hope like a fragile flame in a storm. They believe tomorrow can return, even if the world does not.